few weeks since Garrison passed.
When grief hits me, I can't run from it.
It took him passing to get everybody together, and that just is heartbreaking.
Really wish the producers had just spared us and kept Robyn off the screen this episode. She could have sat this one out. Seriously, read the room. What's truly heartbreaking is watching Kody, once again, prove that his favorite person is himself. In this clip, he's doing what he does best, making it all about him. Shocking, right? Let's talk about what really matters, Janelle and Gabe. The grief pouring out of them was gut-wrenching. You could feel it in every word, every pause. And Gabe, just trying to hold it together, working up the strength to even speak. Completely heartbreaking. Janelle knew her son. She saw him, heard him, tried. Maddie too. Her pain was palpable. She and her husband looked completely crushed. And then there's Kody, the man who thought it was a good idea to throw his sons under the bus during coronavirus. Let's not forget him telling Janelle to kick them out of her house. Real Father of the Year stuff. And now he wants sympathy because he didn't get a chance to make things right. That's not grief, that's guilt, plain and simple. Meanwhile, Christine and Mary, actual empathy on display. You could feel their sorrow, especially Christine's. It hit hard, and yet somehow this deeply emotional episode started with fence climbing. Really? Garrison deserved more than that. He deserved a full episode, not just a rushed intro before diving into gimmicks. It was tough to watch, painful. Maddie, Janelle, Gabe, they didn't deserve this heartbreak. And yes, even Kody, in his own way, is suffering. But it's impossible to ignore the role he played in all of this. Prayers for Janelle, for Gabe, for the entire family. Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to ThreadoraTalks, where the conversations are always next level. I'm your host, Jenna, and today, we're turning things up a notch. Trust me, this is one video you do not want to miss, so let's dive right in. I feel a bit guilty for being so hooked on this week's episode. Not that I want anyone to think I'm excited or riveted. Let's just say I'm interested. Maybe it's just human nature to be a little nosy, who knows? After watching this family for so many seasons, I'm honestly hoping they approach such a sensitive, life-altering event with the care and respect it deserves. This isn't just some dramatic plot twist. It's a real, devastating event that I imagine must be incredibly difficult for them to navigate, especially on a public TV show. So yeah, I'm curious to see how they'll cover it and honor Garrison's memory. It's going to be painful to watch, but it's also necessary. We need to normalize talking about suicide because that's how we help people. On a personal note, I get it. My son went through a suicide attempt, and I was fortunate enough to intervene in time and get him the help he needed. At first, talking about it was excruciating, but I quickly realized it was part of my own healing process. It's a deeply personal, complex issue, and everyone needs their own space to deal with it in their own way. But the most important thing, being supportive, not judgmental, that's everything. So when I saw that Janelle and Kody had full editing control over everything related to Garrison's death, thanks to Mike Helty's Patreon, I felt a sense of relief. At least I know they're making sure it's handled with dignity. And the early reviews from some podcasters who've already seen the episode. They said it was sad, of course, but they also agreed that it was done well. That gives me some peace of mind. I think I finally figured out why I'm so emotionally wrapped up in this show. It's not just some mindless entertainment for me. It's like a weirdly honest mirror. Watching the tangled mess between Kody, Robyn, and the other wives, it's like watching a twisted version of my own childhood play out in front of me. The power struggles, the guilt trips, the control tactics, the constant fawning, and the emotional abandonment. It's all painfully familiar. Too familiar. At first, it's easier to keep it at arm's length, you know? It feels safer to watch it like it's someone else's problem. That's when I can start to see the patterns more clearly. But then, slowly, I realize, oh crap, this is my pattern too. This is my past, my family, my trauma bond. And once you see it, there's no going back. This show, it's been strangely therapeutic. It's helping me name things I didn't even know I was carrying around. It's helping me understand all the unspoken rules I grew up with. So in case anyone else out there is watching and feeling that knot in your stomach, but can't quite put your finger on why, I want you to know, you're not crazy. You're not alone. You're just starting to see it. And on a creepier note, some of Kody's behavior, the way he talks, the expressions on his face, it reminds me so much of my ex-husband after I left him. I'm not saying it's identical, but damn, it's close. It's weirdly unsettling. Anyone else feel like throwing a little cash at Garrison's cat rescues? I'm not watching tonight, but I'm feeling some weird compulsion to honor Garrison by supporting one of his causes. I think there were 2 rescues we donated to last year. But hey, no worries. I'll just ask the Google machine, or maybe even the search bar to find them. Or if you're ahead of me, feel free to drop a link. And can we talk about Gabriel for a second? Seriously, the guy is incredible. He's done some serious work on himself, and it shows. He's looking healthier than ever. Oh, and if you're thinking about adopting a cat, maybe consider a black cat or an adult one. I know, everyone wants the kittens, but those black cats and older ones really struggle to find homes. But trust me, they're just adorable little love bugs. This is Tiger, my senior cat I adopted a few years ago. He's gone now, but man, he was a sweet, chaotic love bug until the very end. Robyn's logic is truly something else. She thinks that because Solomon had RSV as a baby, somehow that makes him high risk for coronavirus. Oh, and don't get me started on her claiming that having pneumonia makes her high risk. Sure, there's a tiny bit of truth to the idea that previous respiratory issues can increase risk, but only if it's recent. But according to Robyn, once you've had pneumonia or RSV once, apparently you're a walking biohazard forever. Classic Robyn. She's a master at taking half-truths and spinning them into drama-filled nonsense. In reality, what she's really doing is dodging the truth. Instead of just owning the fact that if anyone in the family gets her kid sick, she'll throw a full-on tantrum and probably drag Kody into it. She wraps it up in this whole high-risk narrative, and by anybody, she obviously means the OG3 in their kids, her in-laws. Remember that time Kody said that if a child gets sick, the wife flips out and threatens to end the marriage? It was a random episode, but it stuck with me. I thought he was referring to when Christine was mad at him over something like that, but nope, he was talking about Robyn, of course. When COVID hit, Kody was suddenly all about staying with Robyn and her kids, as though they were the only family that mattered. Then, Robyn dropped a real gem, implying that Janelle was high risk because of her weight. As if that's an argument, she conveniently ignored the fact that Kody himself was a walking COVID risk with his near-death experience when his temperature hit a sizzling 99.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's be real, if anyone should be high risk here, it's Kody. Valentine's Day always brings out the best in relationships, right? So when we saw Kody handing out bouquets of flowers, does anyone truly believe he wasn't planning to surprise Robyn with some extravagant gift later? My Keltie made it clear, if they got anything for Valentine's Day, it'd probably be chocolate, nothing over the top. Meanwhile, Robyn sounded so thrilled when she talked about how each wife got the same thing. No personalized gifts, no real effort, how charming. At this point, I'm convinced they've been secretly giving each other expensive gifts behind closed doors, just never talked about or shown to the others. For years, we've heard about Robyn reinstating holidays like Easter and Christmas, reviving the gift-giving traditions, and even halting the weekly family dinners, all while claiming she was the one who changed everything. But funny enough, not once did she bring up the issue of public affection, or the lack thereof. All these years, it was never a problem, until now. Suddenly, it's like she's the relationship expert pointing out what they did wrong. She even went as far as saying that showing affection in front of each other would have strengthened their relationships. So, why didn't she ever mention that before? The more this season unfolds, the more Robyn is morphing into the plural marriage expert, despite never actually living it. If it weren't for the show and the fame, I highly doubt Robyn would have even joined the family. I mean, would she really want to live in one big house with a broke ex-billboard salesman, a family relying on government assistance, and zero luxuries? I don't think so. Maybe if it was truly about plural marriage, but since she had no real experience in it, does anyone believe she'd pick this specific group of people? She came in at a time when things were changing. Fame, cameras, money. She was Kody's midlife crisis, and honestly, she would have been just fine living far, far away from the rest of the family. Except, of course, for the fact that she had to film. All that talk about fitting in and being accepted. Just words. For Robyn, living with the family seemed more like a forced arrangement with a bunch of ex-wives and stepkids than a true, connected plural family. And let's not forget the whole Valentine's Day debacle. After completely disregarding their rule by kissing Kody on the holiday, she had the audacity to say that she didn't even think the rule was all that important. So she just did what she wanted. At some point, during a group talking head moment, maybe even in the same episode, she brought it up for a vote. But here's my issue. If she had such a problem with the rule, why join the family in the first place without addressing it? She had other options, right? So why not find a situation that actually suited her? Instead, she's acting like the family's problems stem from the things she didn't like, rather than acknowledging that her husband emotionally abandoned his other wives for her. If she could ever admit that to herself, I think it would be a huge weight off her shoulders. But of course, instead, she spends all her energy crafting this perfect image of herself, a persona that only Kody seems to believe. I've been rewatching Kody and Robyn's version of events, because of course, I have nothing better to do. And every time they give their side of things, I'm left wondering, how do they keep getting away with this? I mean, sure, once in a while they throw in something new, but the amount of nonsense they try to spin is truly impressive. Take, for example, Robyn getting the big house. You know, the one where they conveniently used the proceeds from Janelle's and Mary's houses for the down payment. Oh, and don't forget about the small fortune spent on art. And I use that term loosely. Random decor that looks more like clutter, cars, kids' toys, landscaping, and of course, the giant U-Hauls they rented. Wait, why were those U-Hauls allowed to park on Robyn's property, but Janelle had to ask permission to park her RV? The mystery deepens. Then, of course, Kody comes in with his brilliant explanation that the proceeds from Robyn's house were used to pay for family bills. Which bills? Robyn's shopping addiction, their mutual art splurges, her ever-growing collection of random stuff. It's baffling. Robyn, in her infinite wisdom, loves to blame everything on them, not following her expert polygamist guidelines. Meanwhile, Kody shifts the blame for his estranged relationship with his kids onto his ex-wives, despite the fact that even the kids have straight up said that's not the case. It's like they're living in an alternate universe where none of the things we've seen over the years actually happened. And don't even get me started on the U-Hauls versus Janelle's RV situation. My guess? The U-Hauls were a short-term deal. They parked them on Robyn's lot, unloaded everything, and then sent them back. Janelle's RV, however, was supposed to be long-term, and apparently the town had some silly rule about how long it could stay on a single property. Once that time limit was up, Janelle would have had to move it to one of the other wives' properties. But honestly, I don't think she needed permission from anyone. No one was even living out there, and they hadn't figured out who was going where yet. Plus, they weren't putting down any permanent structures or pouring concrete, so it wasn't a big deal. But of course, Kody made it his personal mission to make things as difficult as possible for Janelle. Because, he wasn't thrilled with her decision to live in the RV. It's just so hard to take any of their excuses seriously anymore when it's clear as day that none of it lines up with what we've seen all these years. So here's a thought. Can Robyn and Kody actually see the Coyote Pass land from their house? Because if they can, then I get what Janelle was doing when she parked her RV on that plot of land. She wasn't just casually setting up camp. Oh no, she was giving Robyn and Kody the perfect view of her and Savannah, living there, alone, on nothing. It's like the ultimate I'm doing my thing, whether you like it or not move. But if they can't see the land, well, then my whole theory just goes up in smoke. I swear, I remember Robyn talking about how she wanted to sit on the porch with her sister wives, and there were memes all over the place of Robyn just sitting there on her porch, watching Janelle down on Coyote Pass like it was some kind of reality TV show. So if they had that kind of view, then yeah, this whole thing makes sense. Otherwise, my theory's just one big mess of wishful thinking. So Kody has to pay child support now? I've seen some YouTubers talking about it, claiming Kody settled and has to pay up. Is that actually true? If Christine is after child support, honestly, there's no way she won't get it. But maybe it's not even just about the money. Maybe she's trying to establish a consistent parenting schedule, or just figure out exactly how much Kody needs to pitch in. David seems like a decent guy, but let's be real, it's not his job to cover everything for Truly. I've seen something similar happen with my sister-in-law and her son. Her new husband is awesome. He makes sure the kids have everything they need. But when it comes to the extra stuff, he's not throwing around hundreds of dollars or doing more for his stepkids than he does for his own. So you're diving into the wild ride that is Sister Wives, and I get it, you're ready for the real tea, not just the edited for TV version. You're asking how people know all this juicy stuff, like Kody's digs at Mary and the finance drama. Well, let's break it down. First off, about Kody and Mary. Yeah, it's all out there. Some of the things he said to her. Oof, you can find all the cringeworthy quotes and behind-the-scenes drama if you dig into fan forums, Reddit threads, or articles that cover the full picture, not just what's aired. As for the finances, think pyramid scheme vibes, but with more drama and less ethics. Everyone contributes, but only a select few get the perks. Classic Kody move, right? And Mary, oh boy. She does come off as the ultimate pick-me girl, always trying to get validation from Kody, but now she's starting to wake up. It's like a slow burn, but with Jen's help, she's finally seeing how much Kody and Robyn took advantage of her for their own benefit. Progress. The truth is, this whole family dynamic isn't about polygamy itself. It's about Kody's total inability to prioritize anyone's needs other than his own. Mira got stuck in that role, propping up his ego for years, and it wasn't until recently that she's starting to realize how messed up that whole situation was. Oh, and Robyn, you're not the only one who was initially fooled by her. Everyone had their pick-me moments, but Robyn's grand entrance, dumping her bills on the counter and asking where to put them with that weird, shy but pretty act? Yikes. That was the first red flag in what we now know is a full-on manipulation and grift operation. Seriously, it's all about who can get the most from Kody, while making everyone else think they're in it together. If you want to dive deeper, follow the fan gossip. There's always someone ready to spill the tea. Reddit's a goldmine for behind-the-scenes stuff, and if you're into more hardcore breakdowns, there are plenty of blogs and podcasts that dig deep into the real-life mess behind the scenes. Trust me, you're not alone in trying to decode this mess. It's all part of the Sister Wives experience. Alright, now I want to hear from you. Sound off in the comments and let me know where you stand. Agree, disagree, or something in between. And if you're enjoying the vibe, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop. Your voice counts, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging with me.